complaining judicial overreach, with judges trying to block various of his actions. And it's true that the judiciary doesn't always conform to its enumerated powers. For example, whenever they try to uh, force people to comply in a blanket ruling with so-called binding precedent like they did with Roe v. Wade, and like they're doing with the Dobbs decision too, that's an example of judicial overreach. But the solution to judicial overreach is not executive or legislative overreach. If you permit that, then all three branches of government will be consolidated into one monolithic trunk, and there will remain no checks or balances on government. The solution to problem the treasury problem uncovering, and if they do that, then the way to get action on it is you don't have an executive appointee. Sorry, transitioning from my Wi-Fi here. So, yeah, the way you get action on that is you form a grassroots grand jury, and the grand jury investigates the matter and sees if there's enough evidence to bring the public official to trial. In this case, if members of the legislature of Congress are not actually being transparent with their spending, Congress has the sole power of the purse, well, then the grand jury would issue a presentment or an indictment if there were a federal prosecutor as well in the loop. And that way they can assemble a jury to try the case, and if they're found guilty, that person is subject to criminal punishment, oath of office, malfeasance, neglect, or whatever other charges might be brought against them based on the evidences. That's how you hold them accountable. And the fact that we have departed so far away from jury trials means that we have lost control over our own government. And so if you go along with this, I'm seeing the exact same thing happening at the local level, by the way. Brady Brammer, my senator, just actually proposed some legislation to do the exact same thing in my state. He's marching in lockstep with Donald Trump on this, and there are a lot of, frankly, very unintelligent people out there who will celebrate that and say, yay, everything Trump is good. But what they're not seeing is the fact that he is consolidating power. These people have no clue what's in the Constitution. They should go read it. You should go find out how to hold your elected officials accountable. And frankly, the idea that the executive branch should just go in and, force all of the other officials to, march in lockstep with a partisan administration, that's just erasing checks and balances by definition. You keeps disconnecting, but go read the Constitution, figure out what's up. You don't cure judicial overreach by executive overreach. Instead, you hold the individual officers accountable to the Constitution by way of a jury trial. If you can't do that, then you don't have government by the people, and it's not for the people. The people will be governed by a police state if you do not actually uphold jury trials. And the Constitution itself says so. It says the trial of all crimes shall be by jury. And guess what? Just like it's always been, a lot of these officials are probably getting through some kind of revolving door justice system because they're actually buddies with the people who are pretending to prosecute them. Anyways, there could be some real carnage, if you will. There could be some real fallout, because they got to scapegoat people, and the devil doesn't support his children. But this is a very clear set spike two-party state. Trump is part of it. And if you can't see that, read the Constitution instead of accusing people around you, because as you do to others shall be done to you. That's one of the laws of Scripture, is what you send out will return to you again. If you maltreat others, you can expect to be maltreated. If you try to live by the sword, you'll perish by the sword. If you try to make a living politically by just slandering, smearing other people, well, guess what? You're going to be slandered and smeared too, and no one's going to be left to stick up for you. So escape the partisan delusion. Just get out of that. Learn about jury trials. Go actually read what the Constitution has to say about grand juries. We don't need the government's permission to hold any of our elected officials accountable. And to be clear, yeah, there's a procedure for that in the Constitution. There's an actual criminal trial procedure, and it specifies exactly what that is. That's how you hold people accountable. It's not condoning mobs or anything like that, but you got to go learn how this system works. Go look up grand juries, go look up jury trials. We don't have a clue what they are because we practically never do them in modern times. More than 100 years ago, 100% of criminal trials were tried by a jury. We didn't have bench trials. We didn't have civil suits against people. We didn't have this ridiculous family court and divorce court where they're not allowed a jury trial. You didn't have these administrative hearings where people can be deprived of their rights and due process. Go learn about this stuff. Go read the Constitution. It's almost too late. Go learn, please.